to Brieki at something.com. Subject: Bree, please read this. Bree, don't delete this. I know you hate me, but we were best friends once, and I need you to read this. I think I am in serious trouble here, and there's nothing you can do, but I need you to read this so you understood. I know we haven't talked since the sectionals. It's been forever. But what happened to you isn't my fault. At least it wasn't entirely my fault. I know everyone thinks it was, but I would never do anything to hurt you. This is going to sound crazy, but I need to tell you this so that someone knows. It started when we were in 8th grade. It was the night before the Crystal Classic competition. I was at home and I couldn't sleep because I was so nervous about competing. Well, I got on the computer, just sort of surfing the web and stuff, but I couldn't concentrate on anything. I was just sitting there, so I Googled myself. I never should have done that, Bree, but at first it was all the usual stuff you'll find when you Google yourself. But when I found a link to a Wikipedia page about me, I thought our club or my dad made it up or something. There wasn't much there, just some basic facts about skating, what a city we lived in, but the thing that got me said I won that early year's classic crystal. I laughed. I thought for sure someone just did it to encourage me. I confronted my dad about it, but he denied it. When I won the competition the next day, I was so happy. That was the very first competition I've ever won in, and it felt so good. Remember how hard I worked after that? That was when my parents hired Sergey to coach me. You know, just how much it must have cost. After that, I would check my page before every competition. It would always tell me the result of how I placed. It said I could win the regionals at 15, and it all came true. After that, Sergey convinced my mom and dad that I had a real shot at the Olympics. That's when they pulled me from school. I skated every day, but I just wasn't processing the way Sergey wanted me to, and I said I needed to if I wanted the shot at the championship. I was working so hard, and I was skating so well, but still Sergey said it wasn't good enough. When the sectionals came, all I could think about was winning, so I did something I shouldn't have. Everyone was saying that you were the favorite, and I felt that I had already lost the competition. So I made a Wikipedia account and tried to update my page saying that I was a winner. The thing is, after that, when I tried to update the page, I clicked it and it said, Annora Petrova is a selfish little bitch who is going to get what she deserves. I broke down. That's why I looked so awful the next day. I was in a daze. I remember watching your routine and seeing your blade snap, and the next thing I know, I was on the ground and my face was covered in blood from where the tip had flew and sliced through my forehead. When they told me that it was my fault because I had your skates in the possession earlier, Bree, I honestly didn't do anything to your skates. I wanted to win, but I couldn't do anything to hurt you. When they told me that I was banned from any further competitions, everyone said that I got what I deserved. Nobody even asked for my side of the story. I guess you heard that Sergey dropped me after that. He said I ruined him. No one would talk to me. Do you know what it's like to be ostracized by everyone? I couldn't even get to ice in time. And the page got worse. Every time I clicked on it, it would say all those horrible things about me. I can't even tell you half of them. The language was so vile, I cry every time I read about it, but I couldn't stop checking it. I knew I had to do something, so I made a complaint to Wikipedia. I even tried calling them, but no one dared to claim to know about the page. I was home alone on Friday night, and I decided to check out to see if it had been taken down. The page was still there, but this time it said, Annora Petrova is a pathetic little orphan. I freaked. I kept calling my parents to warn them, but every time I call, I would hear this horrible laughter on the other end. I must have called them 100 times until I couldn't get the sound of the laughing anymore. After the accident, the police gave me their phones, and then there wasn't any record of my calls that night. I was so devastated. Before that, I was all busy training the next day and doing homeschool. I never realized how alone I had been the whole time. I know you tried to reach out, but I was too depressed and angry and just shut everything out. Once I turned my 18 and got to my settlement money from the court, I came to Switzerland. I got renovate myself. My ice skating really took off, and it hasn't been a year. I felt like everything that happened was so long ago. That's why I shouldn't have done it, Bree. I'm writing you to now and to the from an old hotel outside of Prague. I am auctioning for the ice circus tomorrow. I know it's kind of the thing we used to make fun of, but I really want this. I was feeling really nervous and just out of an old habit as I checked out my page. It was so hard to say this, but when I checked out the page to see if I'd get the job tomorrow, it all says Annora Petrova died friendless and all alone. It has today's date as listed on my death. I am sobbing so hard I could barely type this, but I want you to know the truth. Please believe me, Bree. I attached a screenshot of the page so you'll believe me, and it's all just there as I told you. I don't know what to do. I don't know anyone here, and nobody speaks English. I just kept refreshing the page. God, it's been forever. I kept refreshing the page, but it still hasn't changed. I'm waiting for midnight. I don't know what to do. I locked myself in my room. There's only a few minutes to midnight now, and all I can do is refresh the page. I'm exhausted, but I can't stop. I'm afraid to leave my computer until I know what happens next. Well, this was a classic creepypasta, I say, and that was Annora Petrova, a creepypasta. My final thoughts on this story? Well, I thought it was a pretty neat story. It was definitely well made in detail, and I personally thought it was a really awesome concept for this story. I mean, I've actually heard of this narration so many times from, some narrators. So I decided to go ahead and, go ahead and do this story because in my due honesty and my opinion, I honestly love this. This actually is a pretty great story. Now, I did see a couple narrators narrate it, so I thought, you know what? I got to give this one a go. I honestly do remember this story from way back, when I just started getting into creepypastas and that. It's honestly a great show. It's honestly really fun. Like it's a really fun story to read. I'm not gonna deny this. It was a very well made story. It's definitely a pretty good one, and I have considered narrating this one for a long time. Now, about this is pretty much realistic, and I can honestly see this being believable in a sense, especially with the fact that this story, honestly, it I can honestly see this being the case because of how well made and detailed this story is. And hell, I even enjoyed this myself. I thought it was a really great story. I mean, it's got good grammar in the storyline and that, and this is a really good classic creepypasta. And I really enjoyed this story, and I thought it was really neat too. I mean, it's pretty much interesting. It's got a great concept in that, and I personally thought it was well made. So, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I still find this to be a really awesome story, and I recommend reading this one. This is on the regular Creepypasta Wiki, and that's where I got it. So, with that being the case, with that being said, it's a really great story. I recommend you check this one out if you haven't. You will not be disappointed once you see it. And I personally really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a really neat story. It's got a great concept, it's awesome. I personally liked it. So, with that being the case, and with that being said, I don't know who the original author of this story is. I mean, I tried to see if I could find it, but I can't seem to find out who the original author of this story is, so I'm going to leave it as anonymous for now. If I ever find out who the original author of this story is, like if he or she or they comment and let me know they're the original author of the story, they can let me know, and I'll be sure to give them proper credit once I do find out who the original author is. But as for now, I'm just going to leave it as it is because I don't know who the original author of this story is. So, if the author can find this story and probably let me know who they are in the comments below, I'll be sure to give them proper credit. So, anyways, with that being the case and with that being said, I personally really enjoy this story. I recommend it. It's on the regular Creepypasta wiki. If I could really say is one thing that kind of give me a little bit of, questions is I always wondered why was this person getting so much hate and then he's like or she's being put on the wiki. Like it honestly makes me confused as to why this person was on the wiki in the first place. I mean, that just gives me I don't really know what it to say, but it honestly gives me some ideas that maybe the people who, said she's, or they are disgraced or whatever and they started I think this is most likely a form of cyberbullying, which is most likely the case, but like I said, that's everybody can have their own opinion on that cuz, I don't really know about much about this story because I haven't read this story in a long time. I think the last time I heard about this story was back, I believe, in 2018 or something when I was just getting into creepypastas. So, with that being said, I still recommend this story. It's a pretty good one. And like I'm always going to say, this is just simply my own personal opinion. And if you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. Now, the grammar of the story is pretty good, as well as the sentence structuring. I mean, it was really readable and it was really well made, especially with the detail in that. And especially the screenshot, it actually provides pretty good evidence as to, what this person's trying to say. They're basically trying to tell the person that they need help, which is a very good positive feedback for that. So there's definitely that for it. So with that being said, I'm going to sit here and say this is just simply my own personal opinion. And if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. I'm going to give this story a 10 out of 10. It's a classic, really well made creepypasta. It's definitely fun. I recommend checking this story out if you haven't, and you guys will not be disappointed once you see it. So, anyways, what did you guys personally think of this creepypasta? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me what you guys think in the comments below, because I personally like to hear what you guys think. So, anyways, I'm the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to leave the like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.